We are live. Whiskey, Watches, and Wheels, the #1 podcast in Cuba, Kentucky. Casey, you ever heard? You never heard it? It's right outside of Paducah. You ever heard of Paducah?
Absolutely. Actually, the whiskey I'm drinking tonight is from Paducah, so very familiar.
There you go. Well, my wife's grandfather owned a lumber mill, and it was in Cuba, and their population's all of about 12 people. Nice. So, boys, introduce yourselves.
I am Casey.
James.
I'm Jose.
You're Polo, man. You got that. You're rocking that 80s vibe. So, how's everyone doing, man? This week's been crazy so far.
Yeah, doing hanging in there. Hanging in there.
Well, I got a good story for you guys. I know you guys love my stories.
Yes.
So,
I knew you would.
Exactly. Well, there's always something. So I've been helping out in the company I work for, and I don't get a bunch of details, but we lost a manager. So they asked me to kind of dual manage another location temporarily until we find somebody. So I've been splitting my time between Orlando and West Palm Beach. So I was down in West Palm on Monday. And I kind of like it because one thing I love about my job, and I don't get the opportunity to do it very often, is actually work with homeowners. We have a homeowner element, a kind of a retail element to my business. And a lot of times I get stuck in the weeds and I don't really get to walk with customers. And so when I'm down there, it's a little bit slower pace. So I have some extra time. So I'm able to work with some homeowners. So fun fact about West Palm Beach, Florida. The average age for people living in West Palm is about 97. So that's first fun fact. So these folks came in, they're working with a person to redo their kitchen, and Mary Louise and Charles, I think they're a spry 85. And so I'm working with them out in the warehouse, and when I walk with clients, I never I walk fast. I'm always on the go. So when I'm with them, I don't want to feel pressured or rushed. So I always let them take the lead, and we're walking around looking at stuff and everything. And so I stay behind them. And all of a sudden, and another fun fact about people that are that age, they're deaf. So I'm walking behind, all of a sudden I hear, and I'm looking up, and God bless her, Mary Louise didn't even bat an eye. And God, this woman crop dusted me for about 45 minutes, about every literally about every 35th step, she's fucking ripping it left and right. And Charles, either he heard it and didn't, just ignored it, or he's so used to it. So I spent literally 45 minutes getting crop dusted by an 85-year-old West Palm Beach lady. I
hope you laughed the whole way though.
Dude, I did. I kept cracking up. I'm like, and sadly, I can't make this shit up. So super nice people, very sweet, but yeah, just fucking ripping farts left and right. So that was my.
You know what? They probably knew, but they don't give a shit.
Oh so. Yeah, they literally didn't.
No pun intended.
Exactly, they literally didn't give a shit. That when they were done, they got into their Rolls Royce and left. So whatever.
I hope you made the sale.
Sale was made. That was good. They selected some beautiful stuff for their kitchen. So that's how
Charles goes in the car and is like, Martha, whatever, and it was, you're ripping gas the whole time.
Mary Louise.
Mary Louise.
That's how my
what's this extra line item charge that you put on here?
Yeah, exactly, right?
Charge.
Super nice people, man, but fuck, she was just like ripping it, and it was not quiet. It was loud. I mean, even one of the boys over on the forklift kind of looked over for a second. He fucking heard on the forklift, so So that's how my Monday started. But you know what? It was great. It was a palate cleanser. Well,
that's how our podcast started, there, Matt.
No shit, right?
Yeah,
it's great.
There you go.
So let's we got a bunch of little topics we want to talk about tonight, but let's jump into our wristwatch check. You know what? Fuck it. I'm going to go first because I never go first. So I'm wearing something tonight that you guys, I don't know if you guys have ever seen this before or not. So I have a little Bulova here. I don't wear it that often, only because it's kind of a dressy watch. It's got, an exhibition case back. It's got, a bunch of blue and white accents, a white face. It's really more of a dress watch. It's really thin. But today I said, fuck it. I had a blue shirt on today, so I wore it, and it's kind of skeletonized. And so it's just a fun little piece. It's not expensive. It's not fancy.
How old is it?
Maybe 8 years old.
Does it have blue jewels?
It does have blue jewels. It does have blue jewels.
How many of them?
21 jewels.
Nice.
Wow.
Cool.
So
Cool.
21 jewels, and
Well played, Casey.
yeah, it's covered on the back.
Paying attention.
It's got an exhibition back on it. You know, you can kind of see it right there in the little window. And but yeah, it's got some blue accents on the front, so it's cool. It's a cool little piece.
Well, our friend James would say, rip that band off, put it on a blue NATO, and fucking wear it every day.
Rocket.
Well, so it did have a silver, you know, not Jubilee style, but maybe oyster bracelet on it, and I didn't really like the bracelet, so I
think the leather looks good. I think that
put on the
matches
blue
better.
leather. So
Looks
the blue
good.
leather works good with it. So
Cool.
I'll go next. Tonight I'm wearing the Seiko World Timer 6117-6400. I've worn it at least once before, but that's this week's choice. Love this one.
Dig it.
Nice.
I'll
Want me to
next.
go?
I'll
Go for
go.
it, Kevin.
So I am wearing a watch that I don't think I've ever brought in here. So it's a Breitling Navitimer Swiss Air Limited Edition.
I like that.
Chronometer, reference number Alpha Baker 0121, since I'll do plain terms. 43 millimeter with an exhibition back. It has like a stainless steel mesh band, really fancy. I never wear this watch because it is kind of fancy. It's heavy too. But I actually walked out of the house today with no watch on like I do normally, and then I had to turn back around and go get a watch because my daughter always says, "You never have a watch on."
Exactly. How do you like
where
that
would
mesh
you-
band?
I like it. It's really nice. I mean, it's not
I
like
dig it.
yeah, it's
Probably
really fancy.
Comfy
Like
too, right?
it is comfortable. Yes.
Yeah, I've never owned a watch with a mesh band, and I've seen them before, and I'm like, I don't know how I would feel about that.
Yeah,
you know,
because
but,
it's flat on so it's nice on the top, but flat on the inside, so it doesn't pinch you or anything like that. Remember the old ones with the little like
Elastic.
the Timex ones? Yeah. I've lost
Yeah.
a couple of those.
Okay.
So that's my watch.
Cool.
So when would you wear that? You said that you never wear it because it's fancy. What would you wear it with?
Probably
Or
like a dress shirt. Actually, and a lot of times, when I bought this watch, the guy gave me a whole school lesson on the chronograph because this has all the dials on it. I'll go back to it for speed, for time, like a true watch. And a lot of people, a true chronograph or Navi timer.
Mm-hmm.
So it has distance, and there's all these other little things on there. I have a book that's like this thick that it tells you how to do calculations for all this stuff because it has more than just normally a chronograph or chronometer. Mm-hmm. It has so much more little dials on it. And he was a good sales guy because he actually knew what everything meant, and he was telling me all about it and stuff like that. But I would say I typically wear this like if I'm wearing a suit. Yeah.
Cool. It's a nice watch. And we now have
Thanks.
an app for all that.
Yes, we do.
Yeah.
Right.
Even when I fly, everything's on an app. Like you do your flight plans on the phone. You do, your mileage, your weight, everything.
Right. So today I'm wearing, it's a Seiko, but it's a 1978 Seiko 7546-603F as in Francis, quartz sports 100 meter sports diver. And it's on a flat 3-link bracelet with the original inner and outer box, plus the original receipt showing the purchase date of August 25th, 1979.
Wow.
So original box, $215.
Nice.
That was a lot of money back in '79 too.
That was a lot of money.
Yeah. With the
with
original
inflation,
credit card receipt.
I don't have the calculator in front of me, but with inflation, that's probably over $1,000 now.
Yeah.
I don't know. But it's a cool watch. I dig it. And I like the little history that comes with it. So fun stuff.
United Virginia bank card. It's probably out of it. Oh, it says Virginia or Visa. Huh?
Yeah.
It would be $1,025 roughly.
Wow.
You nailed it, Matt.
I nailed it. See?
There you go.
Dang.
Genius over there. He's smelling farts and doing math.
Listen, man. One thing my job has taught me, I do a lot of math all day long. So. When you stare at a stack of P&Ls all day, So
All right, let's roll. What we got?
Well, we've been talking on a couple different podcasts now about the various rallies that we have each attended and ones we have coming up. And so I don't remember if it was Kevin or James or all of us said, what's a rally kit that we all need? What kind of items do we need to carry with us on these rallies? Sometimes we are dealing with the air-cooled cars like James and Kevin both have, or even, water-cooled like we all own. There's things that you need if you break down. I think it all started with when we were talking about tire plug kits. So we thought it'd be a fun idea just to kind of write down some notes and kind of go over what we all think would be everyone should carry when they're going on either a long road trip or a rally or whatever. So that's going to be our first
AAA card or American Express Platinum. That's all you need, right?
Well, that's absolutely. You would think, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So I'm going to assume, based on what we were chatting about, is that there's going to be two different levels here, right? There's going to be the air cooled and then the water cooled. So
yeah,
I'm going to run through a list here of must-haves plus some optionals, and then you guys feel free to chime in. But this is what I would typically bring for an air cooled rally. There's some things that I still need to get to add to this list or replace, but I think it's a decent list to start with, but I know that you guys can fill some stuff in. So as far as a rally kit for your air cooled must have, I have a tool bag or a rally bag to hold all this stuff.
Oh, good
right?
start. Good start.
So
and make sure you have two 10mm sockets. You got to lose one of them.
Exactly. Some of these you need two items of, right? So rolls away. But I have a phone mount on here, which is a must. Obviously, that comes out of the bag and is planted on the windshield or however you like to mount it. Walkie-talkie.
No, there's only one phone mount. Let's be honest. The
one I just made.
The Asphalt Killers.
That's right.
Right? I mean, that's the only one.
Well,
if you don't have that one, it's a piece of shit.
For our cars. For G-bodies.
I have a similar one that goes on the clock, right? But what happens is when I start ripping around the corners, it takes, the phone is so heavy and it starts to shake out the clock, and it'll wind up in my lap, and I have to put it back in as I'm trying to drive.
Clock pops out of his desk.
Yes.
Nice.
Yes.
Oh, and all of mine, that's why I developed it, because the phone, when I'm turning like this, it falls in the, and I had track mats, and it's going all over the place, and it always happens when you're turning super quick. And I'm like, usually I'm like, my phone went in there. Can you get it? She's like, I'm strapped in. How am I supposed to get it? I'm like, I'm kicking it. So, yeah.
Well,
okay. So phone mount.
We'll provide a link in the description here for that.
Yeah.
So phone mount. To each his own on that. What I wound up doing is I bought 3 different phone mounts and combined them into the one that works really great for me. So they're cheap enough on Amazon. You do whatever, you do with it. So air pump or gun with a pressure gauge. That's a must for sure. Glass cleaner with rags or towels.
Microfiber.
Fuses. Yeah. Microfiber. I'll use those blue towels as well, because
they work well.
multi-day rally, depending on the weather, you can really blow through a lot of those rags. So I like the disposable ones for cleaning the windows. Extra fuses, jack pad plate, which I've just ordered. So I wasn't running with one of those. Now I will.
Asphalt Killers got that too, yeah?
Not yet.
I have the jack pads. I just made the jack pads, but I don't think it will fit on my car, but I think it's going to fit on that 1980 because I saw. But yes, the plates. Tell them when they slide, James. They slide on the side.
On the sides, yeah. So it's actually outside of the car, or from underneath the car, it sticks out. So it makes it way easier to jack up one side. Let's see, battery jumper, right? So
let's pause on that. You talking about the little battery ones, like the lithium ones? Okay.
Yeah. So,
and do you have one of those?
I do. I carry
have you
it.
had to use it before?
I have.
Okay.
But
so, can you tell me the brand? Because I've used those before too, and is it anti-gravity and
I have a lot. I don't know what the brand is.
Okay.
But I can certainly share it later. But this one,
Mhm.
I made sure that it could start essentially anything. So it's
Okay.
pretty big. It's not one of those little dinky ones where you
Right.
cross your fingers and try to get started. This thing will jump a truck.
Well, yeah, because I've
Okay.
seen them now where they're small and they
they're
literally
like this
plug
big.
into they plug into your cigarette lighter and
Yeah.
it juices it from there.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, I wanted to make sure that I can use it with anything, including if somebody else needs it, if somebody is on the side of the road or in the parking lot. Here, pop this thing on and we'll get you going.
Oh, and for any millennials that might be listening, cars used to have cigarette lighters in them, not 12-volt connectors. Just want to relay that.
That's true.
Yes.
Red to red,
And then,
black to black.
let's see, after the battery jumper, I've got the tire plug kit, which Casey had shared his, I don't know what the brand was, but there's multiple on Amazon. And I know that, Kevin, you had talked about making sure it had the gun,
Mhm.
correct?
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
I've never
just-
used one.
Yeah, just a
I'll
T
I'll
handle.
borrow. I'm gonna borrow James's because I just bought like literally 2 days before we had talked. I bought 4 of them with T handles, and they are pain when you're down on the floor trying to get that leverage to
Mhm.
push it. I've always had to drill the hole a little bit bigger and then put one in and pull it out. And sometimes, especially on lowered cars, it does not. You don't have the leverage. Maybe
Yeah.
it's just me.
I think
but-
the kit that Casey had recommended had the T as well as the gun.
Oh, okay.
The T is simply to be a rasp for the hole, and the kit has the mushroom plugs, which I think are way better than those little
Strips.
sticky strips. Yeah, that you end
Okay.
up viewing and have to cut off. The mushrooms go in. That's the point of the gun, is to compress the mushroom. You put it in there, and it expands on the inside, and so you have like the
Kind of like a
know.
It's
butterfly,
almost like a patch,
right?
yeah.
Okay.
But like a
You
drywall butterfly screw, it kind of does the same thing.
like a molly screw. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then you can also some of the kits come with it, some of them don't, but you can use like some rubber cement on it as well, just an extra little thing. And these things, I've run them for the life of the tires. Like I would trust these on a motorcycle tire. So I would I think they're really awesome. I think they're well designed for what
I've
Do
they
they
never
are.
seen
have
it
an
before.
adhesive on the plug?
No. So the no adhesive on the plug as it comes, and that's why I'm suggesting if you want to add something else, you can do some rubber cement.
So is it sticky?
No, it's not.
I wonder
So
if the stickiness of the tire, the rubber, is what makes it adhere.
I'm telling you, the plugs are 1/2 inch, like the tail of it. And so when you shove it down into the tip of the gun, it compresses it significantly. So that by the time you inject it and pull that gun back out and it expands, there's a lot of pressure on it.
Okay. Cool.
Okay,
That's cool.
good to know.
They
Yeah.
work
So-
really well. They work
I'll
really
have to
well.
check it out.
Excellent. I hope I don't have to use one.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Oh, man, I also tell one tip and trick. If you do have to use these plugs, you're flat on the side of the road or in a parking lot or whatever, go ahead and deflate your tire like the rest of the way. If it's still holding some sort of air, the pressure of the air internally fights you so much when you're trying to get the gun in. And so just go ahead, pop the little screw cap off, use a ballpoint pen or something, or your air pressure gauge, and deflate it down to like 0. And then do the plug, and then use your whatever inflator you got to blow it back up.
So I got a question for you. So if you while we're talking about this real quick, you go out, tires flat.
Mm-hmm.
You don't see a nail or anything in it, but obviously it's so how the hell do you find the hole? I mean, it's not
that's
You
the
spit on it.
yeah, right. Well, usually
That's a lot of
anywhere
spit,
else,
man.
anywhere else you would have soap and water and put some air and try to see where it's bubbling. But on the side of the road, you may not have that.
So on the side of the road, you usually don't throw whatever has been in there. That usually takes a while. So if you're somewhere, somebody's going to have like a restaurant, they're going to have some sort of soapy water.
Yeah, that's true.
But yeah, that is the bitch of the whole thing. If it's not in there,
if you have window cleaner, like James suggested,
that's true.
there you go.
That'll work. Absolutely.
Yeah. Yep. Absolutely.
There you go.
I
That
use
solved the
Windex
problem.
on mine.
That's
There you
solved
go.
the
Good
problem.
point. And
anything else you have, James, on your
yeah,
list?
I
Okay.
did mention the air pump with a pressure gauge. That could be a standalone thing as well, the pressure gauge. So you had brought that up, Casey. So let's see here, DME relay. So especially on the older 911 Carreras, typically one of those goes out on a rally. Somebody has a need. So of course, extra oil. Battery, I said the battery jumper, torque wrench with a deep socket so that you can check your tires. That is something good to have. Let's see. Here's two big ones: AAA or Haggerty roadside assistance.
No doubt.
So make sure that you're covered there, because what happens is if you can't fix it, you got to haul it. So.
And I added two things to his list, basically the same thing. So the DME, I just found out before we went live, it's basically a fuel pump relay. I also put other relays for air cooled. So they have a red top and a black. They're all the same. But I went on a YouTube channel and I found out the way you can test the relay is your horn works. And if your horn works, you take any of those relays, you take the horn out and you put that relay in. If it works, that means the relay's good. That's a good suggestion.
An easy,
good tip.
That's easy. Yeah, good tip.
Great tip.
I added a belt for alternator, and I also added an air conditioning belt.
That's cool.
And like James said, you should be checking your car before you go out, but shit does happen. Mm-hmm. So if anything else, at least maybe you will have one to help a fellow rally person.
Absolutely. The one last thing to add to a must-have is duct tape. Have to have duct tape.
For something.
Yeah,
well,
I put zip ties, and even a small Harbor Freight multimeter. Like I was telling James and the other guys, if I have an issue, it's usually electrical. So, and get familiar how to use the multimeter as well. Most of the time you just need to, hook it up to a battery, check the 12 volts. But get familiar how to do connectivity and even ohms. But I doubt you're going to be on the side of the road checking ohms on something anyway. So, but I definitely. And the reason why I say that is because if something happens, this is the main thing that I use my multimeter for, is if my battery, say I do need a jump start and I jump it, well, I want to make sure my alternator is charging. So then I'm going to hook up the multimeter to the battery to see if it's putting 14 volts through, because if it's not, it's just going to get me right down the road. Yeah, and then I'm going to die again anyways. Yeah.
So that was my must-have list, but I have an optional here. So it's completely up to you based on your space and your needs, but a chair or a stool. So I know that you guys
have for old people.
Stool, that little stool that I have, as far as that it's small, but it opens up to something large. Well, we don't drive all damn day. You got to stop and take a break. And sometimes you also want to stop at the parking lot and enjoy a nice beverage and sit down for a minute. Right.
But I've been sitting down all day long, so I never want to sit down. I just want to walk and stretch my legs and get my ass.
What winds up happening with that chair is it holds a couple beers.
There you go.
So I have a radar detector, completely up to each person here. I have any additional tools. I know that Kevin, you mentioned a few additional tools, but that's kind of like if you don't have your toolkit, mechanic gloves or disposable gloves if needed, basic medical kit. Really, you have no idea what's going to ever happen out there. Spare tire if you have the space. I know that I've seen them running on racks on top of the car in Texas.
Oh, may I say something? I think last time we were kind of bringing this up, I don't know where it was, but somebody mentioned using the slime.
Does not work.
Have you all ever used it?
Yes.
Yeah.
I have used it in a 991 in Alligator Alley. It was not the original one. It had been replaced. I even turned the car so it was like the tire was like the hole, like I pushed it, I pulled the thing out. So all it did, it's so watery, it just pulled all over. And luckily the plug is what got me home.
Well, I was just going to say that it ruins your tire anyway. So I think a plug option is far superior. Even if it's leaking, you can inflate it, overinflate it, go to max PSI, drive down the road. When you feel it getting a little wonky, pull over, reinflate it. But that slime stuff or that juice
Fix it flat.
is
Well,
just
fix it flat's
terrible.
just as bad.
It's just
I
terrible.
think the slime stuff actually works because I've used that, the green one. I've used that before, and it works because it's really thick. But the stuff that they put, the white stuff that they put in Mercedes and BMWs and Porsches, it just doesn't work for.
Yeah.
It's junk for me. And you speak about spare tires. All of the Porsches, late model Porsches, don't have a spare tire. So, and then a lot of cars these days, like my wife's car, has run flats. So even like Mini Coopers run flats and stuff like that.
Yeah,
I don't think they put
AAA in Hagerty.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't think they
gotta
put a
haul it
spare in a 911 since what, 964? Did 964 have one?
No, I think some 996s did.
Did they?
I think it was an option, because
I've seen people put the Boxster spare into the 997, 996.
maybe I'm thinking of the Boxster because the first gen Boxster would have been equal to a 996, and maybe I'm thinking of that.
And I have a question for you, since I have my spare and I'm thinking about getting rid of it because of the weight, because it must weigh like 45, 50 pounds.
Yeah.
I have 16-inch wheels, so the spare is for 15-inch tire.
15.
Now I know I know the difference of tires and sizes, but would that spare actually work?
So what I've heard is that the spare has to go on a front position. So if you have a rear that gets a hole, you need to move a front tire to the rear and then put the spare on the front tire.
Interesting.
Okay.
That's again, I haven't had that.
We're
issue.
learning stuff.
Well, that wouldn't work on my car
because
my rears are significantly wider than my fronts.
Well, so are mine.
Yes,
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, but
that'll work just fine to get you to an emergency change.
Yeah.
You're not racing
we're not
around.
saying going to work.
Right.
But it's your rears. Your front is right a 9-inch or whatever, and it's just not gonna. The offset is such that it's not gonna be. The tire's not gonna be as deep into the wheel well, but it'll still.
And you have
go around
controlling
the brake.
arms too on a front of a car, whereas the back of your car, especially with I know we have CV axles, but a lot of cars have solid axles and stuff like that. So maybe that's why as well.
Yeah. Well, just to finish up my list real quick, I have a video or dash cam. That's completely up to you. And then warning triangles, if you were to break down, that's just kind of bonus stuff.
That or maybe a flare.
Flare would work,
Yeah. And then the last tip as far as that goes is try to have somebody very mechanical or a mechanic in your run group and you're safe.
That's always a bonus.
And before we get to Matt, for your suggestion on our age cars, but on my cell service, you can add roadside assistance. I have AT&T. I've paid $2.99 for probably 20. Let's see. I started with Singular when I was like 14 years old. I've had it since then. So we know I just had my birthday. So 26 years, I think I've had Singular to AT&T and had roadside assistance. I've used it a couple times with other vehicles. Works just like anything else, and it's only like $2.99 a month.
But AT&T doesn't work in the mountains, just letting you know.
That's also true.
Yeah. There's not many cell phone companies that work in the mountains.
It goes changes mountain
You
to
might
mountain.
have to walk a while before you can make that phone call. But
So I have actually thought about, because a number of years ago, when one of our groups, he blew his motor, luckily he was able to, I think there's enough of us, we could drive him somewhere, yes, to get cell service. But in the mountains, there's no cell service, none. And I have Verizon that's usually pretty damn good. So I have been looking at maybe a handheld radio or something, because I do a lot of off-roading. Or you can rent satellites. You can buy them by the minutes or pay just minutes. But all of these roads things that we go to, a lot of them, you have no cell service whatsoever. Yeah. And luckily we're with groups, but we've always had it where I think Chris actually did have a satellite phone. So I was thinking about getting one of those, because you never know. I mean,
true. That's true.
It's better
Yeah.
to have
I
it
mean,
not need
it's-
it than need it not have it.
And
Yeah.
if we have like, to your guys' point, you guys' list should be super short because there's not shit you're fixing on a late model car.
Well, no, I mean, honestly, everything that I would have had on my list, James has covered. I mean, it's all the basic stuff. There's
windshield.
Yeah.
There's really nothing else.
Plugs,
to add
windshield,
to
a
it.
compressor, and
Yeah,
some
I would
rags.
just say
Jumper.
mine's significantly shorter. It's the compressor, which the 997 came with a little dinky one. I've never used it. I've never opened it. So I would still have the gun type anyhow. The plug kit, clean your windshield, and that's all. That's it.
Yeah, and
That's
I had the jump box on mine because especially the later models, if your battery goes dead, it's a fucking bitch to get into the damn frunk and everything, and it's a pain in the ass.
And then oil. Naturally, we all carry oil.
Yeah, all that kind of stuff.
That's actually one thing that the 997 we should do is do an emergency frunk pop pull cord. Because you have to go in behind the front light, and maybe that's something you could fish down, drill a hole behind the headlight, and fish down like some sort of wire down
Kevin
into
can make
the
it.
air intake or something. I'm sure somebody else is smarter than me that's figured that out, but that is one of the dumb things about the design of the 997 is how to get that frunk open if your battery's dead.
Casey, have you ever taken out your taillights on your car?
Yes.
Okay. I don't know if your car has this or not. I'm sure it does because it's a factory thing. On the left tail light, there's a freaking wire from the factory that's like braided. It's real thin. It's got a hook on it, almost like someone, did an aftermarket or whatever. And I have no idea what it's fucking for. Do you know what it's for?
Maybe to pull the wire harness.
Maybe, yeah. It's literally just a thin piece of almost like piano wire, and it's got a loop on the end of it, and it's been round around, and it's tucked in behind the left tail light.
Well, I would have said a trunk pop, but that you have to get the trunk open in order to remove the light. It can't be a frunk. Can't be a gas line or the gas.
I have no idea what it's for.
Just pull on yours real hard and let us know what it does.
I just leave it alone.
Yeah. So. Who knows? I'm sure we could look it up. I'll try to find it while y'all are talking.
Yep.
So real quick, Casey, on the motorcycle, what would you bring if you were ripping in the mountains? What would you have for a motorcycle?
So I'm one that travels with less. If I was doing like a bag tour where I've got saddlebags on, I would definitely do the plug kit, some sort of super small compact compressor, that may take 5 minutes to get you.
Yep.
Because worst case, you get 15 pounds in there, 20 pounds, and you just ride out slow. Chain lube.
You would carry chain lube.
Let's
be honest. Like I mean, I've ridden all my life. I would never carry chain lube.
That's because you don't ride hard enough to get a chain hot. No. It's something that I would typically have some sort of oil. How about that? Some sort of oil. Maybe worst case, you could use engine oil. Before I go ride hard, I always check torque of the calipers and the rear wheel, those sort of things. So I wouldn't do that. I wouldn't do fuses.
No, but when I went on my trip, I did take electrical ties. On a bike you want to pare everything down because you want to take you don't have a lot of space. So I took electrical ties. I took duct tape, but what I did was I took a pin and I rolled duct tape off of the roll onto a pin because you don't need a ton. You just need something, So I made a small roll, basically on a pin of duct tape.
On a pen. You're saying
on a
pen, right?
Pen, yeah, on a pen.
PEN,
PEN pen. So just wrapped it around that. So it was much smaller, not like the big roll of duct tape. A couple ratchet straps that you throw in the bag just in case something freaking happens.
What I never carried ratchet straps. I carried the little loops that would go around the clip-ons because a lot of rednecks that you run into have straps, but they don't have anything to connect to the bike. So
Right.
those little, figure eights essentially. But I really didn't carry much because I just figured if I broke down, I could walk somewhere.
Yeah.
So in the end, we're called this a rally kit, but isn't this something you should just keep in your car?
Probably
It really is. I mean, all of this talk has made me think, and yeah, we have AAA, you have roadside assistance and everything, but, I have, well, they're not teenagers anymore. One is, but, kids that don't know all this, I'm going to put a kit together and throw it in their trunk, just in case there's ever an issue,
So the other thing is 99% of the time you're traveling in town or on an interstate.
Right.
And Matt, your job's a little bit more similar to mine, where maybe you've got to be on a sales call and you've got to be on time. For me, surgery is not going to wait, and I need to be somewhat self-sufficient. I can't wait an hour and a half for a tow truck to show up or someone to come change my tire. So I do keep some of these things in the back of the Cayenne so that I can get back on the road immediately. Just wait, break down for 20 minutes. If it's something significant, then, I'm going to have to
to your point. So my son had a flat tire. This was years ago when he was in high school, but he came out, he was doing dual enrollment and he's going over to the local college, and he came out of high school to go over there, and his tire was flat. So he calls me. So I call, roadside assistance because I was, at work, and it was going to be like 4 hours to get someone out there to freaking, check the tire. So I literally left work, drove out there, and it was one of those things that now he knows, but it was a learning experience because he'd never changed a tire before. So I was teaching how, jack up the car, how to change the tire and all that, then got him down and went ahead and bought him new tires because it was time for that anyway. But yeah, sometimes roadside assistance can take, 2, 3, 4 hours.
Sure.
And where I've learned the biggest lessons is fucking on the boat. When you break down on a boat, let me tell you, they're hours away from you. Hours.
Yeah, boat.
And so you learn to bring a little bag and have it stashed somewhere on the boat. Extra spark plug, oil, relays. Just you treat it basically like an air cooled. You have a little bit extra because when you're out there on the water, you're SOL.
That's a good point. But back to your point, Matt. I wound up this past Christmas getting one of the smaller inflator, right? And as well as the smaller battery jumper for my daughter to keep in her car. So
did you teach her how to change a tire?
Yeah, but it was not the most exciting gift to get during Christmas, right? But she's 3 hours away in school, and coming home back and forth. You want to make sure that you don't get stuck.
Well, we were joking around that one of the last things, if you get to a point to where nothing in your rally kit works, you make sure in your rally kit you have a bottle of liquor and some rally cups, and that way you can just get hammered on the side of the road while you wait for someone to show up.
Yeah,
just make sure you don't have the keys in the ignition in case the cop shows up.
There you go.
Put them in the seat.
Cool. So, anything else to add
on rally kits? I don't think so.
Strap them to the roof and let it rip.
Yeah.
That's right.
So, one of the other topics we want to talk about, it's not exciting. It's not affecting us here in the US of A, but over in Europe, there's news in the press right now that Porsche is to stop selling all the Boxsters and Caymans in Europe. And it's all because of some new cybersecurity law that they're initiating over there. Evidently, there's a UN regulation, number 155, and it's requiring automakers not just to embed cybersecurity protocols into their electrical systems, but it's also basically they're having to change the entire way that the electrical system or architecture is built. And so for some of these companies like Porsche that's got cars that are only a couple years away from changing everything anyway, going to electric models or hybrid models, they just said screw it, we're just going to pull out. And so they're going to stop selling the Macan as well as the Boxster and Cayman pretty much, from what I read immediately, because of these cybersecurity protocols that they're launching in these law.
And did you all by chance go look up the UR or whatever it is 155?
I did not. I'm hoping you did.
I did, absolutely.
Good.
So
we knew
these requirements to me are obviously directed at all electric vehicles and autonomous driving features. If you go through these things, it's all about, as you can imagine, communication from servers back to the vehicles and data and or control of the vehicle via these back and forth communications. Now, obviously, not being a new car owner, I don't know what these Boxsters and Caymans and, Macans, how much a gas engine infotainment center is communicating back to the mothership. But these rules are just not, in my opinion, applicable in mass to gasoline engines. Yeah. And I think that they've gotten caught up in kind of the wide net of the government, the dumb people making laws for specific reasons, and it's just it's bogus in my opinion. It's the UE is the epitome of Big Brother, right? But
yeah,
it looks like it's
the EU.
Yeah,
EU
I'm sorry.
Or EU?
Whatever.
Okay,
it's fucking Europeans. But it's very much directed towards, in my opinion, electric vehicles and the autonomous driving and the control thereof. Some sort of cyber attack making these things drive, kill people.
No, that wasn't that a scene in Fast and Furious? One of them, Charlize Theron goes through and hacks all the cars and drives them off the roof of the building.
There you go. And it specifically talks about that in, what do they say? They give the vulnerability, and then they give an example of the vulnerability and attack method. And that is one of the methods in which they describe. And I think that's legitimate. That could be done, right? If Tesla models can be self-driven, why couldn't someone in a far land control that? So I see that.
I mean, but I will say to your point, Casey, though, I'll give my 4Runner, who's a gasoline car, and so is my Ford Transit. I can do remote start.
Mm-hmm.
They're both from my vehicle. I can unlock my car off of my phone. So that does have something. And who's to say, especially with a lot of these, they're throttle by wire.
Mm-hmm.
You can start the car and then all of a sudden throttle the car. And yes, I do know you would still have to put it into drive or something like that. So that, and I'm just, again, spitballing, but you could definitely unlock the car remotely. There's a lot of things that I have access to on my phone from.
So do you think that this is just the EU being proactive as opposed to wait and see and fix shit after some tragedy happens? Or
and I also think too, like most of our cars now have, again, we can start the car. I can open my garage from my car. It's basically opening the garage from my app, going into the car, through the car.
But where do you, and this is a bigger philosophical discussion, but where do you draw that line of, I want to prevent something versus I
think they're just doing it to shield themselves from legal courses.
Yeah, sure.
Lawsuits.
Being proactive. I mean, when you look at, there's several models right now, Tesla being one of them, where you can summon the car. So you can, push a button on your phone and the car will leave its parking spot and come pick you up at the front door or whatever. There's other models out there that are gas powered vehicles that you will, you get out. Hyundai's got it. You get out of the Hyundai and it'll pull itself right into the garage without you being in the car. So it doesn't take a big leap to hack into that. Next thing you know, you have a steering wheel hooked to your PC and you're driving that car.
I agree with that, but these particular vehicles do not have that.
Right.
And I raise the flag and say, where is the line between I want to prevent some theoretical thing from happening and stopping the progression of private companies to do what they want to do?
Right, it only takes one or two people to, maybe one person to lose their life.
Yeah, and we're still flying airplanes every day.
I know.
Yeah.
So the good news for anyone in Europe right now that is interested in getting a car, go buy a GT4 RS or a Boxster Spider RS right now, because their values are going to immediately double, because those are the only two that's going to be left unsold. And there's basically a back door for those, because it's a limited production number, so it's not privy to the rules.
So a premium on top of a premium.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. And that's the loophole that a lot of these vehicles that we like are getting through. I don't know what the number of the production has to be called the limited, but we know the GT3s are falling under that. We know that the Ferraris, a lot of them are falling under that as well, to be able to skate by the emissions requirements. And
it's always a loophole.
It has to be a fairly low number. And the reason I say that is, if you think about Europe in general, it's a fucking island. Europe is not, I mean, when I say not Europe, England and that kind of part, it's not big. So I can't imagine there's, thousands and thousands of Boxsters and Caymans being sold over there,
Yeah, but is the UK following that? Right? Because they're not even part of the EU any longer.
They
So
did their separation. Yeah.
UK could be just like, go pound salt. We're not doing that.
That's true.
And furthermore, does it mean, and I'm sure it's probably just European sales numbers, but what numbers are they using to determine limited quantity, limited production? Because we know over here in the US, they're buying them like hotcakes.
That's true. Yeah.
All
right.
Next subject. So, do you guys want to talk about the brand loyalty that we talked about? It's very quick, because I think number 1, Porsche was number 4 for brand loyalty.
Under report. I didn't bring it up, but yeah, we can talk about that.
Rivian
was number 1, which was, I was with you when I read that. I was like, what the fuck?
Newlyweds of that car. The car is brand new. I mean, they're not even going to know how that car is going to act in 3 years. I would have thought Toyota, or
which one surprised you besides that Rivian? I mean, for me, the Mini, it's like brand loyalty after you're on your third motor. I don't know.
That's the thing.
I will tell you this: I've had Minis, and I'm all my employees have had Minis, so we all got Minis. I can tell you, all of our Minis.
How many
2000
Minis now?
One person. Not because of we didn't like them, it's we just didn't drive them. So we all got Mini Coopers. Again, I made parts for Mini Coopers. But I will tell you, all of ours were 03. They were R53. They were 03 to 06. Those The only thing that's a problem with those cars is you have to do a front end service, which means you have to take the front bumper off to work on them. But that's actually a Chrysler motor in that car, and there's a lot of Chrysler. I thought it was a
BMW.
BMW, no?
It is a BMW motor, but the motor is a Chrysler motor, so it's a BMW motor, but it's actually because there's a lot of parts in there. Yeah, joint venture. A lot of parts in there that are actually my fab guy. He actually took over a lot of the parts, so he sells a lot of parts, and he's still really big into it. And he's like, "Look, this is Chrysler. This is Chrysler."
Well, I don't see Chrysler on the top side here, so they're on the bottom
everyone
side.
that I know that has a Mini Cooper loves their Mini Cooper, and they buy another one. So I think that's why.
I'll agree. I'll agree that everyone loves them. It's just that I know there's just some big problems with them, especially.
Well, the only one that I was really surprised of, I mean, other than Rivian, and for those listening at home, the top 8 brand loyalties from 2024. Number 1 was Rivian. Number 2 was Mini Cooper. Number 3 was BMW, and BMW surprises me. Everyone that I know that drives a BMW loves the brand. They love BMW, but the current for over the last say 4 years, the styling with the big ass beaver teeth has lost a lot of their people. So the fact that it's still number 3 in loyalty, I'm surprised.
I think that some of that has to do with the age group of this podcast.
It could be.
Right.
It very well could be.
I think that the BMW appeal at this point is they're going after a way younger, they're not going after the 7 Series folks any longer.
Right.
You know what I mean? Those boomers are moving on, let's say. So I think they're
I
going
definitely would have
after
put
the
I would have
younger
put
guys.
Subaru way above BMW because everyone that I've ever seen that has a Subaru, unless it's a WRX that, you know, some of the years the motor's blown, but everyone who has a Subaru always usually gets another Subaru. And
The official car of Washington State.
and Vermont and New
In
Hampshire.
Vermont. Yeah.
So
Yes.
the way I looked at this was that outside of, as you all noted, BMW, and to me, these are a lot of niche vehicles that garner followings, right?
Right.
If you're
Exactly.
a Rivian person, you're Rivian. If you're
I get every one of these.
yeah.
Yeah.
The caveats to that are Genesis. Like maybe I don't get that one.
I think it's value based. I definitely think
Love that.
the
Yep.
money,
Yeah.
the value of your dollar with the Genesis
Goes far.
It does
Yes.
go a long way. And
Although
it's,
they're getting expensive, but
they're getting expensive, but it is a legitimate quality product.
Yes,
I mean,
agreed.
you know, when Hyundai first came to the States,
Shit, they were terrible.
It was garbage. It
Deathmobiles.
was garbage. They were knockoffs. I mean, it really, you know, they stole all their styling from your Mercedes and
They still
and
do, by the way.
yeah,
They still do.
Genesis
The Porsche,
still do.
Yes.
I know.
Yeah.
So,
Bentley.
but they would mix 4 different manufacturers into one vehicle. The front would
They
look like
still
one
do.
thing, the back right. So, but the quality no one can deny the quality of the parts they
Yeah.
put in
I
there
will
and the
never
warranty.
ever give Genesis credit for their design.
No.
Even if
No.
it looks great, I will never give them kudos for stealing shit.
Well,
so-
even the GV series right now, from the back looks just like a damn Macan or Cayenne.
Yeah,
So,
absolutely.
the one that surprised me, honestly, the most is Jeep. And they must be selling a lot more of their...
They're on the bottom. They're
Me-
on the bottom.
Yeah, they're 58%. If you don't see the list, that doesn't make any sense. But they're on the bottom. But I'm surprised just
That's a lot of
because
dead ducks.
of the Wrangler following.
Yeah.
But they must be selling a lot of the other shit vehicles and people not liking them. The Mercedes and the Audi also on the bottom. I was a little surprised by that too, because I think Audi people are quirky and different generally.
Yeah, they like their interiors.
Yep, and the Mercedes people, maybe they're switching to BMW. If you're either in that price range in that vehicle, you're either a BMW or you're a Mercedes guy.
Yeah,
Well, I think the Mercedes.
are they really commenting on the going back to Genesis where you're getting more bang for your buck? Is it the Mercedes and Audi where you're not getting the bang for your buck? You're paying a premium for items that, which goes counterintuitive to what's going on with BMW. I think the BMW surge is based on a younger audience, younger buyer.
Yeah, and the Mercedes, I think the resale value is just shit. I mean, they're always at the pinnacle of technology, but you buy a Mercedes and it's literally worth half of that before the car's even paid off. So, and I think for owners, the way that the pricing of cars are these days, I mean, I don't know. I wouldn't say that. Tesla's up there too, though. But we're not fans of Teslas, and let's face it, I don't think Tesla people are car people. So
but there's no doubt that the Tesla fanboys is deep, and they love that brand. I mean, our couple episodes we put out about stuff showed that. So people they love it. The tech crowd loves that vehicle, and so be it.
Yeah.
Cool. What else are we going to talk about tonight?
I'm going through the list here.
Hybrid, 911 hybrid.
Snoopy,
yes.
Moon Watch.
Snoopy.
All right, well let's do Snoopy real quick. So
yeah, let's do that.
I got photos pulled up. So,
are you excited about this watch, Casey?
I will
First
not
of all,
be in line.
it's white.
well,
it goes right up there with white sunglasses. And if any of
Exactly.
you guys have white sunglasses, my wife will rip them off your face. So just letting you guys know.
What about clear?
I don't know.
Is clear okay?
This
course,
Snoopy would go great with your Radwood outfit.
it would.
That's true.
So I actually do like this watch. I don't have a problem with the white watches. I think the Snoopy aspect is cool. And again, for those listening at home, if you're not watching the YouTube feed, Omega and Swatch teamed up, about, I guess maybe 2 years ago now, to start making the Moon Swatch, which were basically, Swatch watches designed off the Moon Watch Omegas. And so now they've created a limited edition or a new version with basically Snoopy, and it's a moon phase. It's a quartz watch, so I can't say complication. So it's a moon phase dial with Snoopy on there, and so I don't know. It's kind of niche. It's kind of cool. It's got some different elements to it. It's definitely going to skyrocket in price.
Right.
Yeah,
well, I think it falls in line with the rest of the Moon Swatches.
Yes.
The Omega
so
Swatch.
You got Snoopy up here in the upper right hand corner on the Moon deal, right there, and so yeah, I'm not quite sure.
I wonder if they have to pay more of this because of the brand, because of the licensing. Yes.
Yeah, it could
because the Schultz family are, aside from Disney, I think actually the Schultz family hold their copyright. They are, from what I've been told, very, very much sticklers. That's why you don't see a lot of Snoopy stuff.
Yeah, very protective, right?
Of it. So I think they probably, that's one of the things that I know they did it already with the Moonwatch, the Omega, but it's a $40 Swatch watch. I mean, we all, except for maybe Casey, had Swatch watches when we were growing up. I mean,
I'm interested to see how this moon, what they're calling it a moon phase subregister, how you read it. They're inverse. They mirror each other on a typical moon phase complication on an automatic watch. Because I have a couple of them. It rotates, and so it'll show the full moon versus a crescent moon versus whatever as it rotates around based on time. This has got a bunch of different numbers, 25, 29 and a half. I'm not really sure how you read that. So I'm interested. I'm going to look at that, see how that's.
I think the Snoopy's going to just disappear. It's not like, regular one has the full moon and it has the different dials.
Let's just go behind.
And it's got two. Yeah, it's got two of them.
We don't know is it only two or is there four? Is there two more next to that?
Well, it's true. It could be four. I don't know. Yeah, it could be.
Could be full moon there, right?
So anyway, it's got a cool little hidden message in Loom at nighttime that the moons that Snoopy's sitting in light up, and then it has a little message that says, "I can't sleep without a night light," which is kind of a cool little feature. The hands are in green Loom, the Snoopy and the messages in blue Loom, and then typically on the back of the watch where the battery's at is just a little battery cover. Here it's got a picture of the moon with a little dog footprint on it. So little cool Easter egg.
They all have whatever they're named after.
Oh, do they?
As the cover. Yeah. So
So
I like it. I do like it. It's $310 for like Kevin was saying, a $40 Swatch.
Well, here's the thing. I don't own them. I've wanted a Moon Swatch, and I don't own one yet. So if I could actually get one at retail, I would probably pick one up. But I just know this watch, just like the Snoopy's on every other watch out there, it's going to freaking everyone's going to scarf them up. It's going to quadruple in price, and they're going to be freaking $1,500 on eBay.
Well, you can buy the Moon watch at retail now. You can buy that one, the Moon one, the gray one.
Yeah.
I do have that one. You can buy them on eBay all day long for $200 and something, and maybe $250, $235. The only one that was expensive was the Neptune, which was the blue one. Then you can only, we talked about this before the podcast, was the one that you could only get at the London Swatch. And that's why it was going for $500, $600, $700. I have two of these watches. I have the Moon one. I also have the green one, which I don't know, Earth. I think it's Earth. And I know James and Dave have one, right? Mm-hmm. Actually, I need it. Mine I bought just to buy and keep. I probably just need to wear them because they're probably just a watch that I could just beat around, and it's got that NATO band.
That's the one you need to bring to your shop.
That's right.
That's the one you need to wear. It's got style to it, but hey, it's not that expensive. I mean, granted, it's more expensive than a typical Swatch, but
yeah. See, I like this burgundy. This is the Moon Swatch to Pluto, and I like the burgundy and the cream dial.
So that's Mission to Pluto.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Casey's waiting.
Yeah, I've been waiting.
Let her rip, buddy.
Go ahead, Casey.
So
It's all you, buddy.
For all the normal people out there, I do not understand the fascination with Snoopy.
Neither do I.
Who the fuck
It's a
cares?
niche.
Like, I mean,
Matt, Matt likes it. So Matt, why don't you tell us?
that's
There's
Go
a
for
there's a history. There's a history there
So
with
Casey,
cartoons
Snoopy
sucked.
and the
With
Moon
like-
Watch.
but here's the thing, Casey. When
With the Omega.
when I was a young lad, and we had 3 television channels, you couldn't wait till the Peanuts Halloween special came out.
That was one time a year.
Exactly,
In the Christmas tree.
one time a year to watch the freaking Christmas special and Halloween special.
I
And it was terrible.
I just
Well,
don't
it was
understand it. I don't get the Snoopy thing. I know that I've seen this on some other watches, the Snoopy stuff, and I don't get it. Maybe there's this massive following that will gobble this stuff up that I just don't understand. I do think I'll share my screen just
Here
so.
it is, real quick, Casey.
Yeah, go for it.
So the Snoopy is tied to the Omega because Snoopy was NASA's safety ambassador during the 60s and on. So,
All right, so they're going after literally 80-year-old people. Is that who's buying that?
I think the idea is, Omega has used Snoopy on limited edition models for quite a while. And so being that this is a joint venture with Omega and Swatch, they decided to just come out with a Snoopy model on Swatch as well.
And just to keep you going, Casey, the EU has banned Snoopy.
Good. Thank God for that. But the rest of the swatches, I think some of them are interesting. I like that these are relatively low price point. I like
the yellow one. I have
Yeah.
the
The
sun.
Mercury.
I like
That's
that
the one.
the colors are pretty vibrant and interesting
I
and
have
different.
the Mission to Earth. That's the one I
I
have.
think that they really go after the collectability people. They go after the people that like to match their accessories to whatever they're wearing. I do think the Saturn one's really cool. And
I did that
has
one.
That one, the Uranus.
oh, that's interesting. But I do think that
Be nice, Casey.
I am. I do think that the Mars one is cool. The Saturn one's cool. The Uranus is good color. But
They're fun.
I just
They are fun.
They're fun.
Yeah.
Here's the thing. I love my Speedmaster. I'm not wearing my Speedmaster to work. I'm not taking the chance of it getting just, absolutely. Because again, similar to Kevin, I'm in kind of a shop environment, a lot of stuff going on, and I'm not going to take the chance on smacking that thing on a slab of stone or something like that. So, this would give me the ability to have that look and feel of the watch that I love. And, if it gets
Not worried about
trash, it gets trash.
But here we
Yeah.
go back to these Seikos that we all really like. I think that you can find a pretty cool Seiko chronograph that's an automatic, that's not a battery operated.
Oh, yeah, no doubt.
Cheap. I
Yes.
don't know, cheap watch. that you
Including
could
this right
enjoy.
here. This is
Right.
not a terribly expensive vintage Seiko.
And I
So
just
I'm
think
gonna tell you guys my problem with it, with when we're talking about watches. I'm left-handed, as you guys
Speak
know.
up.
Where's your volume, Kev?
Oh, I'm left-handed, as you
Mhm.
guys know.
Yep.
So
That's why your volume was down?
I think yes, I think I need to move to Europe. So I've noticed when people walk in Europe and then even here, we walk like we drive on the road.
Mhm.
So, well, when I'm walking anywhere, I'm always facing a building, like on a sidewalk. So my crystal
You
always
smack it?
gets scratched all the
Oh.
time.
Yeah.
And now that you guys were talking about like Matt, when you brought up the point, I just had like a little light bulb pop up in my head, and it was not Snoopy, but it was just a light bulb popped up. And I've messed up so many watches from scraping across a concrete brick or concrete
Mm-hmm.
just because. And then when you go to Europe, everyone walks like I would be walking on this side, and I wouldn't have that issue.
The outside, yeah.
True.
Yeah,
You're right.
Yeah, you're
Right.
better as a European. Makes sense. Checks out.
Yep. All right. So that was the Snoopy Moon Swatch. I had one more topic for tonight. And
Wait, one more
What?
second here.
What's that, buddy?
If we're going to stick with the white face watch, we also have the rest of the white collection.
Oh, that's true.
Good call.
Yes,
right? That we had covered a while ago. So everything left in that collection that is not car, but car related.
So I signed up for it. I'm just letting you guys know.
Did you? That's
awesome. Did you really?
Nice. I'm going to too, because there's going to be some deals, because there's so many things.
Did you look at this?
Yes, I did. Yes, I did.
The catalog. I mean,
yes.
I'm looking at it because they have like lots of like 6 fuel air what they call
pumps. Absolutely.
Mm-hmm. And I mean, there's things they're selling for. I know probably everyone else is thinking the same thing, but maybe they're probably thinking there might be a couple people like, well, I'll buy 5 of those because I can sell them on eBay for $600 a piece.
Yep.
And there's so much luggage, tons of luggage. So
nice.
This guy collected all of this stuff. It's from one guy.
It's amazing. It's
one
amazing. It just goes on and
I can't
on.
wait.
He must have had a buyer. I mean, how does one person have this much time?
I don't know.
To accumulate this stuff.
I can't wait till everything sells. It's a lot of stuff. I can't wait for it to sell so we can do our white collection volume 2 episode.
Insanity.
Yeah,
and white collection insanity.
See a floor mat that sold for $1,800 or something like that.
Oh, Kevin can build that.
Is there any more fucking $500 hard hats?
But there's stuff that you just kind of want to grab.
Yeah,
right.
Yeah.
So I know that one of our friends,
the books
Chris,
are awesome.
Yes, he had bought some stuff. Was that a whale tail?
Yeah,
see,
I believe so.
Buy more.
I've been looking for one of those.
Yeah, they
have a 997 arrow kit. I need a 997 arrow kit. I'm gonna be like Casey.
I mean, there's some cases are going for $1,000. I don't know what they're going. They're going to all skyrocket. Everything's going to skyrocket.
The literature is amazing, and really, when you look at some of the old brochures back in the '60s, they're just amazing looking. So,
yeah,
I'm going to bid on a few for sure.
Yeah, the brochures, or rather, the manuals were super cool back then. When I was working on the RDs, the Yamaha motorcycles, and they actually teach you how to work on the motorcycle. I imagine that the Porsche manuals that came with the car were fairly similar.
Yeah, I would think so.
So sorry to hijack that, Matt, but
no,
I thought that was
I'm glad you brought it up because
there.
We will definitely be covering that at a later date, because once all these auctions close and we see the insanity that everything's sold for, we're definitely going to make fun of it because that's what we do.
Yeah, but we'll have to go through and pick out a few of the deals that were just
we will. We'll do like we did last time.
So what about this ugly ass 992?
What ugly ass 992? What are you talking about? I didn't see that.
Spy photos.
The hybrid.
Oh, with the fucking shark fins.
Yeah.
Yeah. No. It definitely is not the Manthe one. So cases. There's some spy shots out of the Manthe 992, and it's got Manti, and it's got some crazy ass shark fins on it next to the massive wing.
I can get down with the massive wings. Like, I'm okay with that. These fins on top of the
you got a picture? Can you guys
rear window? Yeah, I'm sorry. The stuff on top of the rear window reminds me of when you're driving through particular communities that may be lower income, and they have all those like air things on the back of their rear window. You know what I'm talking about?
Yep.
That's what this reminds me of. There you go. Can you see that?
Are you saying louvers?
Yeah.
On the back of the windows?
Like the JDM stuff.
No.
Yeah, it's
like where they go
like
right
shark fins.
Right here along the top of the rear window. Anyway, I think
it's a roof diffuser.
Roof diffuser. There you go. It looks goofy.
Yeah,
I think it's just too much. I think it's just too much.
Those are high. Those are really high.
Yeah, they're really big. They stick up over the wing.
Over the wing, over the top of over the roof of the car. I love the track stuff on these street cars, but that's just one step too far.
I'm curious to see at what point that some of that stuff can't be done based on safety.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
So, the EU wants to outlaw fucking Boxsters, and they allow goofy shit like this. Doesn't make sense.
Mm-hmm. And I did see a Snoopy sticker on there.
The red bear and flying his little house.
But hey, you guys, if you guys haven't watched the movie, I watched it yesterday again. I haven't seen it in a very long time. No Man's Land is on Roku. We were talking about it before.
I gotta check. Yeah, I gotta watch it again. It's been freaking
have you seen it,
years since I've
James?
seen that.
Does it have nudity?
I thought it was gonna have some. I gave it an 8 out of 10.
Most 80s movies does, but I don't believe that one did.
It was rated R.
It.
Yeah.
It was rated R because they, dropped the F bomb a lot. But and I actually asked my wife. I said, "Why was this rated R?" And she's like, "It's the '80s. They're always gonna have it."
Yeah,
but it's
for sure.
nothing but them stealing Porsches. Which actually, I told my wife, "Well, shit. It's really easy to steal my car because the guy, Charlie Sheen, literally pulls the wires off. He has his own plug, plugs in, starts it up, but the shifter won't move. So they just go there with their foot and literally just go and break the steering column and they take off." And I was like, wow, that's pretty damn easy to steal this car. But it's all 930s, Carreras. And then I start looking at pricing. I did not realize a 930 back in those days, and say 87 when that movie came out, was $80,000, and I did the $250,000 is what that car would have been in today's
Yeah,
money.
spot on. Spot on. Right? That's what it's costing you now.
For turbo?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I guess without and then
Turbo
like
S.
A Carrera was $50,000. That would have been $150,000. So I guess you're right.
So that's gotten a
It's
little
all relative,
cheaper.
right?
Yeah. But that
But
one
it's in
scene,
line,
Kev,
right? It's in line.
It's there.
If I remember correctly, there's a scene where he's in like in a parking garage and walks up to a convertible and just pulls out a Bowie knife and just into the friggin'.
And he sticks his hand down there.
Oh
and
man,
stuff.
it's like oh my god.
But I was looking at
Is
watches.
it a good movie though?
Yeah, it's good. I think we all like
entertaining.
it. I'm looking at the main character, DB Sweeney. He's got a Seiko. What do you have? A Seiko dive watch, like I don't know what it was. Seiko dive. I'm looking at all the guys' watches. I saw in the back of their shop they have a Pioneer sign, a neon sign that had like an '80s girl on it, and I was looking for that on eBay. I was looking at like all kinds of stuff, just a lot of the signage and stuff. So much to the point that they have their thing is called Technique Porsche, and it's on their. Actually, I have a picture of it on my phone. I'll zoom in on here. I was so like, oh, I'm making this shit. So let's see if my camera's going to take a little while to zoom.
Oh yeah, I see it. Yep.
So there's the name of the company. It's the Chop Shop, and this is. Let's see if I can zoom in here. This is their coveralls, and
we can share it.
Yep.
So I actually let's see if we can put this.
There you
in. It's going to take a little while to zoom in, but there it goes.
You got it. Yeah.
There it goes. So
how about this? I just bought the Blu-ray No Man's Land and Men at Work combo pack. $15 Amazon.
Men at Work's a great fucking movie.
So it's on Roku. You can download the app for free, and it's for free.
I don't have that. I like physical media.
Well, so anyways, I told my media guy, I said, hey, I want to make this shirt. Like, because I just looked to see if they had someone made the shirt. Because everyone always makes like movie shirts and stuff.
Yeah.
No one made that shirt. So I'm like, I'm making the same shirt where it says Technique Porsche. We're looking at like all the different outlets for Shutterstock and Free Pick and stuff for the angle of that car. We could not find the angle of it. So I had to get in the car because I wanted to like me driving it. And he had to take a picture of the car. And he probably has like 3 hours into this little bullshit project.
Oh, that's funny.
But so that will be on Asphalt Killers. Those shirts will be for sale pretty soon, and the stickers. I'll put them in my.
Hold on.
Let me know. I'll buy one.
Yeah. Did you find it, James? Did you find a shirt? Yeah, there it is. Right
there you go.
Yep.
Love it.
So that angle, because
awesome.
Everyone takes the picture of a car in a racetrack on the driver's side as it's turning. They're never taking
towards
it from
on the front angle,
the passenger side. So we had to do that and turn the wheel. And it's. Do you have the picture of his coveralls? No, probably not.
No,
so,
let's see here. No.
My buddy who's going to paint my car, he's a big Porsche guy.
Still hasn't painted it?
No, it goes on the 5th. We're going to get it done on the 5th. So there you go. I actually told him I'm making you a coverall, and he's super excited. He's like, I can't wait. So I'll make him. It's not going to be like embroidered, but it'll just be like heat pressed on. But I just before we came on here, I was buying some coveralls. So
it's freaking awesome.
Yeah. All right, guys.
Well,
Matt?
the only other thing I had on our notes was, and again, take this with a grain of salt. Don't know if this is true or not. It's according to Car Scoops, but Porsche is supposed to be debuting their 911 hybrid here soon. I don't believe the timeline because in the report they're saying that it's supposed to launch in summer of 24, which is damn near almost here.
That's close.
Right, and we would have heard something by now, I would assume. But the report suggests that Porsche has been working with Ramatz to develop a new model, and the electric part of the drivetrain is said to feature a lithium-ion battery that's specifically developed for low weight. And it's going to be, I found this interesting, it's not going to be a plug-in hybrid, it's going to be a self-charging, similar to like a Prius.
Good.
So
that makes sense. Yeah.
So there you go. Which I think that's what, I think Corvette, the E-Ray, is that way. I don't think it's a plug-in hybrid.
Cool. And we also know that if it's true lithium, they are designed, or they can be designed rather, for extremely fast discharge, meaning you can use it
boost,
like they do on like on the F1 cars, where you can do. Or I don't think they have it on
push
F1,
to pass.
Anyway, push to pass. They do. Just give you a big boost in short period of time. Maybe that's something. Maybe that's a mode they can use. Maybe you can use it in all electric mode. I have zero idea.
That would certainly make sense for a sports car.
Absolutely,
to be in line with
listen,
F1.
If anyone's going to do it right, Ramatz has been doing
IRL
electric, sports cars for a little while now. Everything's 2,000 horsepower. So, so that's the right person to team up with if they're going to try to develop something.
Well, let's pull the plug on this podcast for this episode.
You got it.
Ooh, nice call.
Pull the plug, baby. Out of juice. All right. For those listening, you know the deal. Whiskey Watches and Wheels everywhere. YouTube, website, Instagram. So hit us up. Let us know what you thought. What would you add to your rally kit? Things of that nature. And other than that, that's all we got. You guys got anything?
Negative.
Nope. All right. I will not be here next week, so you guys tune in and listen to what the guys shit talk about me. All right.
Thank God.
If we can get it to launch.
Kevin's got this. All right. Catch you guys later. All right.
Thanks.
Bye-bye.